Disclaimer, given how I'm going to be discussing endings, I'm going to spoil the following movies in this video. Viewer discretion is advised. There are movies with great endings, and then there are movies with terrible endings. And then there are movies that either looked like it was going to end at a certain point but then kept going, or just served as a pointless middle finger towards the audience. Now I'm not talking about something like I'm Still Here, or Freaky, or Boy Kills World, where it might have one too many endings but still really good movies. I'm talking about movies that have that one extra minute to smack you in the face. But I'm going to start with one that isn't bad per se, AI Artificial Intelligence. The movie presents a bleak future where humans and robots coexist, and initially it looks like the ending was going to replicate it, with Haley Joel Osment stuck underwater, vainly asking the statue of the Blue Fairy to make him real to get his mother's love. But then it throws a curveball by making it the sappiest thing ever, where he suddenly replied thousands of years later, where aliens also bring back his mother, and they're allowed to spend one more day together. I mean, I know this was Stanley Kubrick's intention to end it this way before he passed, but it's not like all of his decisions have been great. Just ask Shelley Duvall. Next up is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which was already a humongous mixed bag with its neat ideas but stupid as hell moments. Especially its ending, which looks like they were gonna leave the dinosaurs to die as its gas leak, but then this little brat opens the door for them to escape, wreak havoc, and lead to an even worse sequel. Also, I know it might be an unpopular opinion, but I just didn't care for the ending to Lord of the Flies, either version. I know it's from the original book, but it just bothered me that the entire story hinges on these kids being away from society, and their efforts to build their own society failed so badly that it literally blows up in their face, thus ending on a downer note. Only for a nearby boat to come and rescue them in the last minute. I mean, it just feels like a Deus Ex Machina that goes against the hopeless feel the story's going for, doesn't it? And then there's the case of the pointless end twist, like one of Adam Sandler's mid-tier comedies, The Cobbler, where suddenly his dad is still alive and has been watching them as his neighbor the entire time, as well as whatever the ending to Tim Burton's Ape remake was. And John Q would have been a decent thriller about Denzel Washington holding a hospital ransom to get his son to undergo heart surgery if it just ended with him pulling a trinket to donate his heart. But no, they just had to pull this savvy bullshit with, oh, you know that woman who died at the beginning of the movie? Turns out she had to go hard so you can live. And then there's already bad movies made even worse by its final moments, like teasing Brian O'Connor's return even after Paul Walker's death, the main character realizing he was spared his friends if he just waited a couple minutes for the military to arrive, learning they got the wrong guy when the real shooter passes by Colin Farrell as he loses consciousness, realizing the hotel suddenly got destroyed off screen only to build the exact same way 2 minutes later, Masala turned out to be alive so he can make up with Ben-Hur that savvy ass ending, The Crow bringing his girlfriend back to life, and suddenly turned into Lao says propaganda. But the movie that most made me want to make this video is Lars von Trier's polarizing two-parter, Nymphomaniac. Now this movie, I have an interesting relationship with. The first part I found to be an intriguing coming-of-age drama about Charlotte Gainsbourg recounting her sexual escapades after being rescued from the streets by Stellan Skarsgård. But the second part was just aggravatingly slow, which seems where I was just like, I didn't need to see that. But the point I'm making here is, it looks like it was going to end on an uplifting note, as the main character vows to rebuild a life with Stellan Skarsgård as her only friend. But then in the very next scene, he stabs her in the back by trying to rape her, so she shoots him and runs away. Like that. I know the title of this video was mostly exaggerating, but in this case, literally the last minute derails the whole experience, because it goes against everything the movie has been building up. So those were just some movies I could come up with at the top of my head. Maybe there's more if I end up seeing more movies afterwards. If you can think about the movies you felt should have ended sooner, don't hesitate to let me know in the comments. And you know, after talking a bit about the worst endings, I think I'm in the mood to talk about another movie with an ending people either love or hate. Maybe a certain franchise which I covered 2 of the 4 movies on this channel before. Maybe my favorite of the franchise. Maybe something about vampires and werewolves and Adam Sandler. Oh well, I'm sure it'll come to me.